I have my breakfast and I get ready for work. My husband has his breakfast and he gets ready to go to office. My children have their breakfast and they get ready to go to school. Hello everybody, welcome to Cornerstone Skills, and I'm on a mission to help you gain your fluency in English and build your confidence in your communication skills. So today I want to tell you about some standard expressions, daily routine, what you and I could be doing on a daily basis. Very often we struggle to make sentences on our own. So the following sentences, I want you to read them aloud, not in your mind, but audibly. You can make the changes that apply to your life. Let me talk about what I do on a regular basis. I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I lie in bed for some time. What does that mean? I do not jump out of bed as soon as I open my eyes, but I lie in bed for some time. What do I think about? I think about all that needs to be done right through that day, and I jump out of bed. You can say I jump out of bed or I get out of bed. I make the bed. What does make the bed mean? I fold my bed sheet, I fold my sheet, I spread the bed, keep it clean. Remember, cleanliness begins at home. Then I prepare breakfast. I take a shower, that is, I take a bath. I pray for some time. Here, the mistake people do is they say, I pray to God. Why? It is understood that we pray only to God. Nobody prays to man. So we just need to say, I pray for some time. I read the newspaper and then I get ready for work. Now let's talk about the men in the family. When I say men, it means plural form. You could be talking about your father and your husband and your sons. So what do? They wake up at 6 a.m. They go for a walk. They come back home and take a shower. They have breakfast with the family. They get dressed up for office, or you can say they get ready to go to office. They get into the car and they drive to office. They reach office on time. They get to work. They check their mails. They have lunch with their colleagues and they finish work and finally get back home. Shall we talk about the ladies at home? Maybe your wife or your mother. When you talk about women, there is so much that you can talk about what they do at home. So my mother, or you can say my wife, she usually wakes up very early at 4 a.m. But today she overslept. That means she slept too long and she woke up late. So what does she do normally? She prepares food for the family. She gets the lunchbox ready for her children. She washes the clothes. She hangs the clothes. She irons the clothes after they dry up. She does the gardening. She waters the plants. She listens to music while cooking. And she watches the news on television. So can you spend 15 minutes every day to tell yourself what you do on a daily basis? Using the simple present tense. You could talk about yourself, or you could talk about another person, or you could talk about a group of people. Every day, just for 15 minutes. If you tell yourself that you do not have time, you have to make time. When you wake up in the morning, you could do it, or when you drive to work, you could do it, or when you're even having a bath, or before going to bed, just 15 minutes. Remember, consistency is the key to victory. And you will definitely get better and better, more and more fluent, and more confident in your English speaking. Now, let me tell you something about how to make conversation with people. Very often we meet people for the first time and we wonder, what do I talk to them? Especially strangers. How do I talk to them? What do I talk to them? And the best way to start a conversation is to ask open-ended questions. Open-ended question means The answers are long answers. Closed-ended questions means the answers are yes or no. So always ask people open-ended questions so that they will go on and on in the conversation. So let me give you an example of how I made a conversation with a stranger. I was once waiting at the airport for a pretty long time, and there was a stranger. There was a lady sitting next to me, and I decided to make conversation with her. So I told her, "Hello, where are you traveling to, or where are you off to?" And with a smile on my face, she looked at me and then she said, "I am traveling to Singapore. I am going to visit my son and his family." She continued excitedly talking about her son and his children and how often she visits them. Now, why do you think she continued the conversation? Because she realized that I was giving her my undivided attention, and that is an important part of communication skills. Listening, giving your undivided attention to people when they talk. She went on, and she seemed very comfortable in a conversation with me. But there was one flaw I found in her communication skills. What was it? She did not ask me any question about myself. So generally, when you make conversation with people and people ask you questions, it is always good to ask them back about themselves. After a few minutes of silence, it was time for me to board my flight, and I asked her her name, and she said her name was Jenny. And I said, "Jenny, my name is Elizabeth. It was very nice meeting you. See you. Bye-bye." So asking open-ended questions is a very good way of making conversation. People will appreciate you for making friends with them and making them feel so comfortable. Let me give you another example. I once attended a close relative's function. And while I was just walking about in the function hall, I noticed a young lady. She was standing at the corner of the function hall all alone, and she was looking kind of lost. I watched her for a few minutes, and then I walked up to her and I said hello, and I told her how I was connected with the host. She was so delighted that I actually walked up to her and spoke to her. She introduced herself. She told me how she knew this family, and we spoke for a few minutes. After a few minutes of making conversation, another lady whom she knew walked up to her and said hello to her, and I politely excused myself. These are different ways of how you could improve your communication skills, especially if you need to work on your interpersonal skills. I hope you have benefited something from this video. Please do mention in the comments below how you start a conversation with a stranger, or probably you have met a friend after a long time. Remember to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on the bell button. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.